Before the dawn of the greatest light the world would ever see, there was a darkness so thick it seemed eternal. The Arabian Peninsula lay vast and untamed, a sea of sand under an unforgiving sun. The wind swept over dunes that stretched beyond sight, their curves glowing gold in the daylight and silver under the stars. In this harsh land, survival was a daily battle, and the desert shaped its people into warriors, poets, and traders. At the heart of this desert stood Makkah, not the largest city nor the richest, but the most sacred. The Kaaba stood in its center, ancient and solemn, said to have been built by Ibrahim and his son Ismail, as a house for the worship of Allah alone. But centuries had passed, and truth had been forgotten. The house of Allah was now surrounded by 360 idols, stone figures carved by human hands, yet worshipped as gods. The people called this era Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance. It was an age where pride in tribe outweighed justice, where the weak were crushed by the strong, and where a father could bury his newborn daughter beneath the sand to protect his honor. Blood feuds raged for generations over the smallest slights. The poor were neglected, orphans were cast aside, the traveler found no protection. But in the unseen realm, the decree had already been written. The time had come for the world to change forever. Following the custom of Quraysh, Muhammad was sent about an infant to the open desert to be nursed, so he could grow strong and healthy. He came into the care of Halima al-Sa'diyah, a woman of the Banu Sa'd tribe. From the moment she took him, blessings poured into her life. Her old donkey, once slow, now outran the others. Her goats produced milk, when before they had been dry. Her people noticed the change, but Halima kept him close, knowing he was special. One day, while playing with Halima's own son, two figures dressed in white appeared. They took Muhammad, laid him down, and opened his chest. They removed a small black clot, saying, "This was the portion of Shaitan in you." Then they washed his heart in a basin of pure snow and returned it to his chest. This was no harm, but a purification, preparing him for the mission that lay ahead. When he was 6, tragedy struck. His mother, Amina, died while returning from visiting relatives in Yathrib. Alone, he was placed under the care of his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, and when the old man passed 2 years later, under his uncle, Abu Talib. Though poor, Abu Talib loved him deeply, protecting him as if he were his own son. Muhammad grew into a young man of dignity and strength. In his teens, he worked as a shepherd, tending sheep for the people of Mecca. It was humble work, but it built patience and compassion. As he grew older, he entered trade. In a city where dishonesty in business was common, Muhammad's word was gold. His truthfulness and fairness earned him the title Al-Amin, the trustworthy. At the age of 25, he was approached by Khadija bint Khuwaylid, a wealthy merchant known for her intensive and integrity. She hired him to lead her caravan to Syria. The journey was a success, bringing great profits. But what impressed Khadija most was not the money, it was his character. Her servant Maysara spoke of a cloud that shaded him from the sun and of his unmatched honesty in trade. Khadija proposed marriage. Despite her being 15 years older, their union was one of love, respect, and mutual support. She would become his greatest earthly supporter in the years to come. Years passed. Makkah grew richer, but Muhammad's heart grew heavier. The idols around the Kaaba pained him. The injustice toward the poor angered him. He began seeking solitude, and so he climbed to the cave of Hira, a small hollow in a mountain that overlooked Mecca. Here, away from the noise of the city, he would reflect and worship Allah in the way of Ibrahim. Khadija would send him food and water. Sometimes he would remain in the cave for days, returning only when supplies were gone, then ascending again. It was in this quiet place that the greatest moment in history approached. It was Ramadan, the 27th night according to many scholars. The city below was silent, the moon casting silver light over the mountains. Inside the cave of Hira, Muhammad sat deep in thought. Then, suddenly, he was not alone. A being of immense presence filled the space, Jibreel. Jibreel, Iqra, read. Muhammad, I am not one who reads. The angel embraced him tightly, then released him. Again, Iqra. Again he replied, I am not one who reads. A third time, the embrace, firm yet not cruel, and then the words came. Iqra bismi rabbika ladhi khalaq, khalaq al-insana min alaq, Iqra wa rabbuka al-akram, alladhi alama bil kalam, alama al-insana malam yalam. Meaning, read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Read, and your Lord is most generous, he who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not. The words burned into his heart, his mind raced. He stumbled out of the cave into the cold night air, his body trembling. He descended the mountain quickly, his breath uneven. When he reached home, he called out, Cover me! Cover me! Khadijah wrapped him in blankets, her eyes wide with concern. He told her what had happened. Not for a moment did she doubt him. She said, By Allah, he will never disgrace you. You keep family ties. You speak the truth. You carry the burdens of others. You help the poor. You honor the guest. And you support the oppressed. She took him to her cousin, Waraka ibn Nawfal, a learned man who had studied the scriptures. When Waraka heard the account, he said, This is the same angel who came to Musa. Would that I were young when your people will drive you out. Muhammad asked, Will they drive me out? Yes, Waraka said. No man has come with what you have brought except that his people opposed him. Revelation paused for a time, a period that weighed heavily on him. Then it came again. O you who is wrapped up, arise and warn. Surah Al-Mudathir. The mission had begun. The first to believe was Khadijah, then his young cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib, his freed servant Zayd ibn Haritha, and his closest friend Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. In the quiet of the night, the message was shared. Hearts were touched, lives began to change. From a cave on a mountain, a light had begun to spread, a light that would one day reach every corner of the earth. That night was the turning point of history. From the heart of the desert came a message for all of mankind, a message of mercy, justice, and truth. And this was only the beginning. You've just heard a chapter from the story that shaped our world, a thread in the great tapestry of history. If this journey moved you, inspired you, or made you see the past in a new light, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to Threads of History and walk with us through the moments, the struggles, and the triumphs that defined humanity. Every week, we bring you closer to the people and events that changed the course of time. Join our growing family of seekers, storytellers, and history lovers, because history isn't just about the past, it's about understanding who we are today. This is Threads of History, where every thread tells a story. Subscribe now and let's keep weaving it together.